Former Air Force Chaplain Cizek tells me his military career started going downhill after his sermon that included scriptures about sexual immorality. He says never before had he been punished for preaching. Now he's hoping Christians will stand with him. Former Air Force Chaplain Cizek is unapologetic about preaching the word. One Sunday in 2013 at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, he says that stance led to trouble.
The message was about sin that we don't think is that bad. If you're having sex with somebody that you're not married to, then you need to stop. I said, you know, sometimes the Christian church has gotten a reputation for being prejudiced. And because we look at one sin, homosexuality, and then we turn a blind eye and don't say anything about heterosexual sin. And that's hypocritical.
What happened next turned into a domino effect that ended with his involuntary discharge.
Well, former Air Force Chaplain Cizek joins us now by Skype. And Chaplain, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Let's follow your career. You went to West Point. And so how does somebody from West Point then end up in seminary?
So God called me out of the military and ended up going back to my hometown, to my home congregation, and pastor there said, I think you should be a pastor. So I enrolled and absolutely enjoyed it. And after planting a church, God called me back into the military to serve those people who are the bravest men and women in America.
Okay. What got you into the Air Force then?
So I had been in the Army. It was basically the Ministry of the Armed Forces for our church body. The secretary was there, and she convinced me to go back into the Air Force.
Okay. Well, let's take it fast forward then to the complaints. So somebody complained about your sermon, and what did they allege that you said?
Yeah. So since she misquoted me, I'm gonna quote her directly. She wrote in her complaint that I said, if you are homosexual, you're going to hell. Now, a friend of mine, her unit chaplain, explained that chaplains preach and teach according to their religious beliefs, and so she understood. The problem was that we also had a lesbian commander working in basic training, and here's what she is quoted as saying about me. She quoted me as saying that homosexuality was a sin and that homosexuals would burn in hell. So she didn't actually hear the sermon, but I don't know where either of them are getting what I said, because that's not what I said. The story clip that you already showed basically says what I already said.
Well, the old Mark Twain adage, the lie gets to go around the world before the truth gets its pants on. So that seems to have happened to you. Okay. And it's one of those that, as soon as this is out there, you start getting poor performance reviews. You then get passed over promotion. Were you ever told that it was because of that sermon?
Well, starting 3 days after I preached a sermon, all the chaplains in my chain of command, my boss, his boss, his boss, and his boss, verbally counseled me about the sermon. So clearly they had an issue with the subject that I was talking about, sexual immorality, basically do not commit adultery. And then when I was in Afghanistan, a few weeks after I was removed from working in basic training, that's when the first time that I really connected the dots. I received a phone call from a first sergeant who was removed from working in basic training by the lesbian commander because he would not agree with her on disciplining a military training instructor. And then when I got back from Afghanistan, I went and talked to my new supervisor's boss, Chaplain McCain, who let the cat out of the bag that the reason for my removal was the sermon. And another chaplain had been removed for the same thing while I was in Afghanistan.
Did it cross your mind that the writing was on the wall and you might want to start looking at leaving the service and at least walking away with your pension? I assume at this point in time you already had 20 years. Did that ever cross your mind?
So I assumed that when the military said that we can preach and teach according to our religious beliefs, which is not only a constitutional amendment, but is also laid out for us in Air Force regulations, that they actually meant it and that I would be exonerated. There's a lot of administrative remedies, and I've gone through all of them now. I thought for sure that somebody would say, well, what was done to him was wrong. Obviously, that hasn't happened, but I'm thankful that at least Department of Defense Inspector General is re-looking into everything that happened to me.
Well, you weren't, when it finally came down to it, you weren't permitted to retire. And so it seems like this is some kind of vengeance, that they want to deny your pension, they want to deny your health benefits, they want to claim, involuntary discharge so that you don't get any of that. Is that your view? Is this some kind of vengeance?
Absolutely. When the Obama-Biden administration had repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell, they assured us that conservative Christians, conservative other religion chaplains would be protected. And so they made my case go away, Senior Master Sergeant Philip Monk, and another chaplain, Rashandra Singleton. They made all of our cases go away. That's 3 people in one unit in 6 months that all got removed for basically the same thing. So the Obama-Biden administration made it clear that they didn't want their Don't Ask, Don't Tell repeal. They wanted it to go off without a hitch. So they swept everything underneath the rug.
Are they trying to make an example out of you so that other chaplains sort of toe this new party line, don't speak against sexual sin? Is that your view? You're the shining example. Here's what's going to happen if you cross this line?
Yes. So there are some strong forces in former administration and in the Pentagon. When the president talks about draining the swamp, he doesn't just mean Washington, D.C. He means the Pentagon as well. So he has fought back against some of their transgender and homosexual agenda push and the preventing of free speech that has occurred under the previous administration, Obama-Biden.
Do you think there's any thought that this might actually hurt recruitment and specifically hurt trying to have more chaplains come into the service?
Well, they're trying to get rid of all of the conservative chaplains. I think that's clear, or to silence them. And so, yes, it's going to hurt recruitment for conservative Christians, conservative other religions as well, for coming in the military, because it's clear that we don't stand on equal footing when it comes to our First Amendment rights.
Well, we've got a viewer question. This one comes in from YouTube. Were you aware of the pushback you would receive from speaking the truth? How has this situation changed your view on the Lord, yourself, and the church today?
I didn't expect there to be any pushback there. The Air Force's guidance to us was absolutely perfectly clear that we would not be censored in any way when speaking in a religious service or in religious instruction. It has, the experiences I've gone through have got me closer, I would say, to some figures in the Bible that went through some difficult times. People like Job, story of Joseph, have been really near and dear to my heart, as well as the story of Esther, standing up for the truth when sometimes we call it speaking truth to power. Sometimes it doesn't always go well for the prophets of old and also Christians today.
Well, thank you for standing. Kurt Cizek, thank you also for being with us. I know your case is up on appeal, And so as viewers, if you want to know how you can stand with Kurt and make your voice heard and help him in his appeal, you can go to our website, cbnnews.com, for more information. We also have it on the CBN News Channel app, so download that. And again, Chaplain Cizek, thank you for standing, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Key. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so we can reach more people with encouraging content like you just watched, and so you never miss a beat. See you next time, and God bless.